So I'm back in Melbourne after the 6 weeks of, well, my own inner pilgrimage, which was really such an initiation into the deeper depths within. And it's so beautiful because just before I left, I was completing a book called Forged in Darkness, which speaks about the many ways of personal transformation, of entering our own underworld. And did I meet my own underworld again and again and again? So the first week started out so beautifully of just soft landing, just going to rose gardens, flower gardens daily, and every single garden in London that I loved when I was living there about 10 years ago. I visited, and I think like within the 8 days I went to like maybe 10-11 gardens. So it was really soft landing, and I was like, oh, maybe the rest of the experience would be like this. And it was not. When I was transitioning from London to Glastonbury, it was just the most beautiful transition, whereby so I don't have the easiest experience taking public transport, just because I don't know when anxiety would act up. And I think it's just something around not having control of the vehicle. And anxiety was such a theme during this entire experience, which was so timely to look at, because it's been bugging me that even though I'm holding space for it, the way it makes my world smaller has really been made quite obvious. Like, you know, watching musicals and not being able to get great seats just because I cannot be in the center. I need to be at the aisle, or like jumping off tubes whenever they get too crowded, and just summoning so much energy to be okay when I'm in a plane, especially the moment whereby plane doors close. It's like, that's my escape. Yeah, so I'm recognizing how much limited, or how limiting it can be to just have this as a part of my life experience. And so it definitely came up when I was in Glastonbury. It was the most beautiful transition. I met my friend Celeste, who, well, I would say she's such an angel. She really initiated me into the medicine of cacao. It was through cacao that I really built such an intimate relationship with Mary Magdalene. And it was Mary who told me back in 2021 that one day, she didn't say one day, I said one day, but she made it seem more like now, that I will be facilitating sound ceremonies at sacred sites all around the world. And at the time, I played nothing other than like a Tibetan singing bowl, which I used to close yoga classes, and nothing more than that. So I was like, where is this coming from? It makes no sense. But it was from that vision that I really felt like, okay, I'm going to learn how to play the gong, because I've always loved receiving gong baths. And I've been eyeing a gong immersion in the UK for years, like before COVID. And so I signed up together with Cheryl, and like 2 weeks before, it just didn't feel aligned anymore. So I pulled us both out, and instead of traveling to the UK and then to get our gong in Italy, we headed straight to Mexico. And I kind of like lost the vision of this this dream of sound ceremonies. but it was exactly what we did in Glastonbury, because our guide Shamya, he had a couple of beautiful chalices, his drum, his ditch. So that's exactly what we did, and it felt so familiar to be visiting like the stones and the ancient sites, and to be sounding, toning, and also to be like just so present with the land and communicating with the land through sound and light codes in a way that my mind cannot comprehend, but my soul just knows, like, this is incredible, I've done this before. So in one of the journeys, what came forth, and I spoke about this in a few videos ago, what came forth was my resistance to the messy, my resistance to the wildness, and I struggled with meeting with this because the full essence of the work that I love to share is that it's going into the messiness. It's not CBT, it's not even regular psychotherapy. It's a mix of journeying and shamanism and ancestral healing. It's just such a melting pot of everything that was very truthful in my experience, everything that really touched me deeply. So it's not neat, it's not linear, and I know that. Yet when it came to meeting a new depth of the messiness and wildness within myself, there was such a resistance, and it came up again in Hawaii. And when I met with the fire element, so when it came up in Avalon, Avalon is gentle. It has such a gentle, beautiful energy, but it demands a truthfulness. But in Hawaii, it's just fire. And I think of like Goddess Pele, the goddess of the volcano, of the fire, whereby fire burns away all lies and all deceit and all the ways I've been lying to myself or hiding from myself. So that came up, and I think what really honed in for me, and I think I have to share this in a different video so that this doesn't get too long, but what really honed in is to explore the wildness within the parts of myself that's still in crevices and caves within my psyche that I haven't yet looked into. I maybe simply just brushed past or walked past, but it feels like it's really time. So I had no idea, like coming back to Melbourne, I had no idea what on earth this offering would look like. But the first day I was back, I sat in quiet meditation. Almost immediately, Mary Magdalene made her presence known, and it was so clear what I had to do, which was to utilize, to ride on the energy of Virgo season of the maiden, the embodied, like the highest expression of Virgo being the embodied sovereign goddess within each and every one of us, in spite of gender. But this maiden within each of us that is so comfortable with her sexuality and her sensuality. And I think this has been something that has been tugging at me for a long time. So come 12th of September for 12 days, that will be the exploration. And it's so crazy because there are two pathways, one for the females and also one for the males that just opened up tonight. So 12 days of journeying together and exploring our inner wild erotic self through practices of just dropping into the human form, the human body, engaging in the human senses, the earthly senses. So it actually feels very Taurus-like to me, of the embodiment, the sensuality, the humanness. So this is such an experiment for myself as well, and I'm very, very excited to witness its unfolding. And if it rings out to you, if it feels like it's something you may be called to explore at this time in this season of your life journey, just reach out and we'll chat.